Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to address an uncomfortable truth that many overlook: why married women often find themselves the easiest prey in various situations, especially when they are approached by men who are less than honorable. Now, I'm not suggesting that marriage makes someone a target, but rather the dynamics of marriage and human nature that lead to vulnerability. Through a lens of Stoic philosophy, we can understand why this phenomenon happens and how it can be addressed. Human nature is a complex and often contradictory force, shaped by emotions, instincts, and social conditioning. At the core of every human being is the desire for connection, validation, and fulfillment. These fundamental needs are not erased by marriage. In fact, they can sometimes be intensified. While marriage is often perceived as a protective institution, one that shields individuals from external threats and provides emotional stability, it can also create certain vulnerabilities that make individuals more susceptible to influence, temptation, and manipulation. This is not due to a lack of intelligence or moral strength, but rather because human nature itself is wired to seek what is missing, whether consciously or unconsciously. The vulnerability of married women in particular is rooted in both psychological and societal factors. On a psychological level, every human being craves attention, appreciation, and a sense of being desired. Over time, even in strong marriages, these feelings can wane due to routine, stress, or simple familiarity. When individuals become accustomed to a particular dynamic, they may stop appreciating what they have, taking it for granted instead. This is a natural tendency of the human mind. What was once exciting becomes ordinary, and what was once treasured becomes expected. When this happens, a person may unconsciously begin to seek validation from external sources, even if they do not intend to act on those desires. This is where vulnerability begins. A married woman, for example, may not be looking for external attention, but if she feels unseen, unappreciated, or emotionally disconnected in her marriage, she may become more susceptible to external influences. A compliment from a stranger, a co-worker who listens more attentively than her husband, or even a harmless conversation that provides emotional stimulation, can become a source of attraction. It is not necessarily that she seeks to betray her marriage, but rather that she is drawn to what fulfills an emotional void. This is a fundamental aspect of human nature, the search for completeness. People are naturally drawn to what they believe will make them feel whole, and when that feeling is not found within their current reality, they may unknowingly open themselves to outside influences. Another factor that plays into vulnerability is the nature of social dynamics and expectations. Women, especially in traditional societies, are often placed in roles that prioritize their duty to their family above their personal needs. While this can create a sense of purpose, it can also lead to feelings of being overlooked or undervalued. A married woman who has devoted years to caring for her family may begin to feel as though her personal identity has been lost in the process bin. If her husband does not actively reinforce her value outside of her expected roles, she may become more attuned to external sources that do. This is not about weakness, but about a natural human response to recognition. When a person feels valued, they respond positively, and when they feel ignored, they seek validation, sometimes unknowingly, from those who are willing to give it. Furthermore, human vulnerability is often heightened by the illusion of control. Many believe that they are immune to external influence, that their principles and commitments are strong enough to protect them. However, history and psychology show that no one is truly immune to temptation. It is not about a lack of morals, but about the way the human mind responds to stimulation, especially when it fills an emotional gap. A person who has never felt neglected may believe they would never be swayed by external validation, but if they one day experience emotional isolation, the response might be different from what they expected. The reality is that the strongest defenses against vulnerability are awareness and self-discipline, not mere assumptions of immunity. Additionally, human nature is deeply tied to the power of emotional connection. When people connect emotionally, they form bonds that can sometimes override rational thinking. A married woman who finds herself emotionally drawn to someone outside her marriage may not intend for it to happen, but if she feels understood, heard, and appreciated in a way that she no longer does at home, the emotional connection becomes a force of its own. It is not necessarily about physical attraction or intentional betrayal, but about the deep-rooted need for connection. Humans are social creatures, and emotional bonds are powerful drivers of behavior. The ability to resist external influence is not merely about willpower, it is about ensuring that one's emotional needs are met within the relationship so that external influences lose their appeal. Understanding vulnerability is crucial because it allows individuals to recognize where they might be unknowingly opening themselves to external forces. Vulnerability is not a flaw but a part of human existence. It is not exclusive to married women, but is a reality for all people in different ways. By acknowledging its presence and understanding its root causes, individuals can take steps to safeguard their relationships and personal integrity. Recognizing that human nature seeks validation, appreciation, and emotional fulfillment is the first step in preventing circumstances that lead to unintended consequences. Emotional disconnect in marriage is one of the most common yet often overlooked issues that can lead to dissatisfaction, loneliness, and even the breakdown of a relationship. It does not happen overnight but develops gradually, often as a result of unaddressed tensions, unmet expectations, and the slow erosion of meaningful communication. While physical attraction and shared responsibilities are important in marriage, the foundation of a strong and lasting bond lies in emotional intimacy. When this aspect weakens, couples may find themselves feeling like strangers under the same roof, living parallel lives rather than a shared one. One of the main reasons emotional disconnect occurs is the routine nature of long-term relationships. In the early stages of marriage, there is excitement, curiosity, and a strong desire to understand each other deeply. Couples talk for hours, share their dreams, and feel a constant sense of closeness. However, as time passes, responsibilities such as work, children, financial pressures, and daily tasks take priority, often at the expense of emotional connection. Conversations that were once deep and engaging become transactional discussions about bills, chores, or schedules replace meaningful exchanges about feelings, aspirations, and struggles. When this pattern continues for an extended period, both partners may begin to feel unheard, unseen, and emotionally neglected, even if they are fulfilling all their duties within the marriage. Another factor that contributes to emotional disconnect is the unspoken expectation that love should sustain itself without effort. Many couples assume that once they are married, their bond will remain strong simply because they have committed to each other. However, just like any other meaningful aspect of life, emotional connection requires continuous nurturing. Without deliberate effort to maintain intimacy, couples can drift apart, mistaking their emotional distance for a natural part of long-term commitment rather than recognizing it as a sign that attention is needed. In reality, love is not self-sustaining. It requires consistent effort, understanding, and emotional presence to remain vibrant. Emotional disconnect can also stem from unresolved conflicts and resentment. When issues arise in a marriage and are not properly addressed, they do not disappear, they accumulate. Over time, small misunderstandings turn into deep-seated grievances. A spouse who constantly feels unheard or invalidated in arguments may begin to withdraw emotionally as a defense mechanism. Instead of confronting the problem, they may choose silence or indifference, believing it is easier to avoid conflict than to engage in what feels like a losing battle. This emotional withdrawal creates an invisible wall between partners, making it increasingly difficult to reconnect. Technology and external distractions also play a significant role in emotional disconnect. With the rise of social media, smartphones, and digital entertainment, couples often find themselves physically present, but emotionally absent. Instead of spending quality time together, they may be sitting in the same room but engaged in their own digital worlds. While these distractions may seem harmless, they chip away at opportunities for emotional bonding. Moments that could be used to strengthen the relationship, such as sharing thoughts, expressing affection, or simply enjoying each other's presence, are instead filled with passive scrolling, television, or work-related distractions. Another major contributor to emotional disconnect is the changing nature of intimacy over time. In the beginning of a marriage, physical and emotional intimacy are often intertwined, creating a strong connection. However, as life becomes busier and external responsibilities increase, intimacy can take a backseat. Physical affection, meaningful touch, and expressions of love may become less frequent, leading to feelings of rejection or emotional starvation. When one partner feels undesired or unappreciated, they may begin to withdraw emotionally, leading to a cycle of distance that is difficult to break. Moreover, emotional disconnect often leads individuals to seek fulfillment outside the marriage, not necessarily in the form of infidelity but through friendships, work relationships, or even solitary activities that provide the emotional engagement they no longer find at home. A person who feels unheard by their spouse may find themselves opening up to a colleague or an old friend, not with the intention of betrayal, but because human nature craves connection and understanding. What starts as a harmless conversation can evolve into a deeper emotional attachment, highlighting the void that exists within the marriage itself. The longer emotional disconnect persists, the harder it becomes to repair. What starts as a temporary phase can become a permanent state if left unaddressed. Some couples stay together despite feeling emotionally distant, resigning themselves to a relationship that lacks the warmth and closeness they once had. Others may feel tempted to seek fulfillment elsewhere, leading to further complications. Regardless of the outcome, emotional disconnect is not an issue that should be ignored, as it has the power to erode even the strongest of marriages. Social dynamics play a profound role in shaping relationships, influencing the way individuals interact within marriage, and determining the expectations placed upon both partners. Society, culture, and external influences all contribute to how married individuals perceive their roles and how they navigate their emotional and social needs. These dynamics can create pressure, reinforce stereotypes, and subtly manipulate behaviors in ways that either strengthen or weaken a marriage. While many believe that marriage is purely a personal commitment between two individuals, the reality is that it exists within a larger social framework that constantly exerts influence, sometimes without either partner even realizing it. One of the most significant ways social dynamics affect marriage is through societal expectations. In many cultures, women are traditionally expected to be caretakers, nurturers, and supporters, while men are often positioned as providers and decision-makers. These deeply ingrained roles can shape the way individuals behave within a marriage, sometimes limiting emotional expression and creating an imbalance in the partnership. A married woman, for example, may feel pressured to prioritize her family's needs over her own, leading to self-neglect and a gradual loss of personal identity. Similarly, a man may feel burdened by the expectation to be emotionally strong and financially stable, even if he is struggling internally. These rigid roles can create barriers to open communication and emotional connection, as both partners may feel obligated to conform to their prescribed societal roles rather than expressing their true thoughts and feelings. Additionally, the influence of social circles and external relationships can impact a marriage in ways that are not always immediately apparent. Friends, colleagues, and even extended family members often have opinions and expectations about a couple's relationship, sometimes unintentionally shaping the way each partner behaves. A woman who is surrounded by friends who frequently express dissatisfaction with their own marriages may begin to view her own relationship through a more critical lens, even if she was previously content. Likewise, a man whose social circle normalizes infidelity or emotional detachment may find himself influenced by those attitudes, even if he initially disagrees. People are naturally influenced by the behaviors and beliefs of those around them, and without conscious awareness, social dynamics can subtly alter the way individuals perceive and engage with their marriage. Another aspect of social dynamics that affects marriage is the growing presence of digital media and online interactions. Social media platforms, entertainment, and popular culture all play a role in shaping expectations about love, relationships, and personal fulfillment. Married individuals are constantly exposed to curated images of seemingly perfect relationships, creating unrealistic comparisons that can lead to dissatisfaction. A woman who sees influencers or celebrities showcasing lavish gifts, romantic gestures, and effortless mates may begin to feel as though her own marriage is lacking. Meanwhile, a man who is bombarded with unrealistic portrayals of female beauty and idealized relationships may develop expectations that are difficult for his partner to meet. These external influences can create unnecessary pressure and unrealistic standards that strain a marriage, making it difficult for partners to appreciate the reality of their relationship. Moreover, the way society views marriage itself has shifted over time, affecting how individuals perceive their own commitments. In the past, marriage was often seen as a lifelong partnership that required endurance and compromise, even through difficulties. Today, however, many cultures emphasize individual happiness and personal fulfillment, sometimes at the expense of long-term commitment. While it is essential for both partners to find joy and satisfaction in their relationship, the increasing emphasis on self-fulfillment can sometimes lead individuals to abandon relationships at the first sign of difficulty rather than working through challenges. This shift in perspective can create a sense of instability, as both partners may feel as though they must constantly meet high expectations to keep the marriage intact. Another way social dynamics contribute to marital challenges is through the normalization of temptation and external validation. In many social settings, flirtation and attention from outsiders are not only common but sometimes even encouraged. A married woman who is complimented or pursued by someone outside her marriage may initially dismiss it as harmless, but repeated validation from an external source can begin to create emotional confusion. Similarly, a man who receives admiration and attention from women outside his marriage may start to crave that validation more frequently. Society often romanticizes the idea of excitement, passion, and newness, making it easy for individuals to become disillusioned with the stability of their long-term commitment. Without conscious effort to maintain emotional intimacy within the marriage, external influences can become increasingly appealing, leading to potential conflicts or even betrayals. Finally, gender dynamics and power structures within relationships are heavily influenced by societal norms. In some cases, women may feel less empowered to voice their needs or assert their boundaries due to cultural expectations that prioritize male authority. Conversely, men may feel pressured to suppress their emotions and maintain control, leading to emotional distance. These dynamics can create imbalances that make it easier for external influences to disrupt a marriage. If one partner feels unheard, unappreciated, or undervalued within the relationship, they may be more susceptible to seeking fulfillment elsewhere, even if they do not consciously intend to do so. Ultimately, social dynamics play a crucial role in shaping the emotional landscape of a marriage. They influence expectations, create pressures, and introduce external factors that can either strengthen or weaken the bond between partners. By recognizing these influences and actively working to maintain genuine communication, appreciation, and emotional intimacy, couples can navigate the complexities of their relationship while resisting the negative effects of societal pressures. Self-control is one of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the ability to govern one's thoughts, emotions, and affections in the face of external pressures and internal desires. In the context of marriage and relationships, self-control plays a crucial role in maintaining stability, integrity, and emotional discipline. A lack of self-control often leads to impulsive decisions, emotional outbursts, and actions that can cause long-term harm. On the other hand, practicing self-restraint allows individuals to navigate challenges with wisdom, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and uphold the virtues that sustain a strong and committed relationship. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the understanding that external events and temptations are beyond one's control, but the way one responds to them is a matter of personal choice. In marriage, this means that while external attractions, disagreements, or frustrations may arise, an individual has complete power over how they react to these situations. For example, encountering someone outside the marriage who offers attention or validation is not something one can always prevent, but whether one indulges in that attention or remains committed to their values is entirely within their control. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in avoiding temptations altogether, but in developing the inner discipline to resist them. Emotional regulation is another crucial aspect of self-control, as emotions can often cloud judgment and lead to irrational behavior. In marriage, conflicts are inevitable, but the way they are handled determines whether they strengthen or weaken the relationship. A person who lacks self-control may react impulsively, saying hurtful things in the heat of the moment or making rash decisions based on temporary emotions. However, a Stoic approach encourages individuals to pause, reflect, and respond with reason rather than impulse. By mastering emotional discipline, a person can prevent minor disagreements from escalating into significant conflicts and foster a sense of mutual respect and understanding in the marriage. Desires and passions are natural aspects of human nature, but according to Stoic philosophy, they must be controlled rather than allowed to dictate one's actions. This does not mean suppressing emotions entirely, but rather ensuring that they do not override reason and virtue. In a marriage, unchecked desires, whether for external validation, material possessions, or fleeting excitement, can lead to destructive choices. A person who constantly seeks external stimulation or attention may eventually find themselves compromising their commitments. However, a Stoic-minded individual recognizes that true fulfillment does not come from external sources, but from an internal sense of purpose and self-mastery. Another important Stoic lesson on self-control is the distinction between needs and wants. Many people confuse what they desire with what is truly necessary for happiness and contentment. In marriage, this can manifest in unrealistic expectations, where one partner demands constant attention, affection, or validation from the other. Stoicism teaches that genuine happiness is not dependent on external factors, but rather on an individual's ability to maintain inner peace. By understanding that no one else is responsible for their happiness, individuals can cultivate self-sufficiency and approach their marriage with a mindset of giving rather than mindset. Furthermore, practicing self-control in marriage requires a commitment to patience and endurance. Over time, relationships naturally go through phases of difficulty, and it is easy to become frustrated when things are not going as expected. A person who lacks self-discipline may become restless, looking for quick solutions or even seeking fulfillment outside the marriage. However, Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of endurance and resilience, recognizing that difficulties are a natural part of life and must be faced with strength rather than avoidance. By applying this principle, individuals can remain steadfast in their commitment and work through challenges with a sense of purpose, rather than impulsively giving in to dissatisfaction. Stoicism also teaches the importance of controlling one's thoughts, as thoughts ultimately shape behavior. A person who allows negative or destructive thoughts to take root, such as resentment, jealousy, or entitlement, will eventually act upon them, whether consciously or unconsciously. Self-control begins at the level of the mind, where individuals must learn to recognize harmful thought patterns and replace them with rational and virtuous thinking. In marriage, this means choosing to focus on gratitude rather than complaints, understanding rather than judgment, and patience rather than frustration. By actively shaping one's thoughts, individuals can cultivate a mindset that supports a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Ultimately, the Stoic concept of self-control is not about suppression but about mastery. It is the ability to recognize one's emotions, desires, and impulses while choosing to act in alignment with higher values rather than momentary feelings. In the context of marriage, self-control serves as a safeguard against destructive behaviors, ensuring that commitment is upheld not just in moments of ease but also in times of difficulty. By practicing self-restraint, emotional regulation, and rational thinking, individuals can cultivate a relationship that is built on trust, respect, and unwavering integrity. External desires have always played a significant role in human behavior, often shaping decisions, altering perceptions, and influencing actions in ways that are not always immediately noticeable. In the context of marriage and relationships, external desires can manifest in various forms: physical attraction to someone outside the marriage, the longing for admiration and validation, the pursuit of material wealth, or the desire for a lifestyle that seems more exciting than one's current reality. While desires themselves are not inherently harmful, the way individuals respond to them determines whether they strengthen or weaken their relationships. When left unchecked, external desires can create dissatisfaction, disrupt emotional stability, and ultimately lead to actions that compromise commitment and integrity. One of the most common external desires that influence marriage is the craving for attention and validation from others. Humans are social beings who naturally seek appreciation and recognition. While a strong and healthy marriage often provides a sense of validation, it is possible for individuals to feel overlooked, especially when routine and familiarity set in. When one partner begins to feel unappreciated or unseen, the attention from an external source, whether a co-worker, friend, or even a stranger, can suddenly become highly appealing. What starts as a simple interaction can gradually evolve into an emotional attachment, fueled by the unconscious need to feel valued. This does not necessarily mean a person intends to betray their spouse, but rather that they are responding to an unmet emotional need. If self-awareness and discipline are not present, this external validation can become a dangerous temptation, leading individuals to seek fulfillment outside their marriage instead of addressing the root of their emotional disconnect. Another powerful external desire is the attraction to novelty and excitement. Over time, every relationship naturally transitions from the intense passion of the early stages to a more stable and predictable dynamic. While this stability provides security and emotional depth, it can sometimes lead to a longing for the thrill that comes with something new. This desire for excitement is not limited to romantic relationships. It can be seen in the way people constantly seek new experiences, travel to new places, or indulge in entertainment that offers a break from their daily routine. However, when this desire for excitement extends into marriage, it can cause individuals to view their long-term commitment as dull or unfulfilling in comparison to external possibilities. The media and popular culture often romanticize the idea of passionate affairs, secret attractions, or spontaneous encounters, reinforcing the illusion that new experiences are inherently more exciting than the familiar. If individuals are not careful, they may begin to chase fleeting pleasures at the expense of the deep and meaningful connection they have built with their spouse. Material desires also play a significant role in shaping relationships, often creating tension between partners. Society constantly promotes the idea that success, happiness, and self-worth are tied to financial status, luxury, and external achievements. In a marriage, one or both partners may begin to feel dissatisfied if they believe their lifestyle does not measure up to societal expectations. The pursuit of wealth, prestige, or social status can become an obsession, leading individuals to prioritize material gain over their relationship. In some cases, this desire for external validation through material success can create conflict, especially if one partner feels pressured to meet unrealistic financial expectations. Instead of focusing on genuine connection and mutual support, couples may become consumed by the pursuit of an idealized lifestyle, ultimately losing sight of the emotional foundation of their marriage. Social comparison is another external factor that influences desires and creates unnecessary dissatisfaction. In today's digital world, people are constantly exposed to curated images of other people's lives, relationships, and achievements. Social media platforms, entertainment, and advertising all contribute to the illusion that others are living more exciting, romantic, or successful lives. A married individual who frequently compares their relationship to those they see online may begin to feel as though their own marriage is lacking. The reality, however, is that much of what is portrayed online is an illusion, carefully filtered to showcase only the best moments. Despite knowing this intellectually, many people still fall into the trap of comparing their reality to the highlight reels of others, leading to unnecessary feelings of inadequacy and discontent. Another significant external desire that affects relationships is the pursuit of personal freedom and independence. While individuality is important, there is a growing cultural emphasis on self-fulfillment that sometimes conflicts with the nature of commitment. Many people are influenced by the idea that they should always prioritize their personal happiness above all else, even at the expense of their relationships. This mindset can create unrealistic expectations, where individuals believe that marriage should constantly provide excitement, passion, and personal growth without requiring sacrifice or effort. When challenges arise, instead of working through difficulties, some individuals may feel tempted to seek freedom from their commitments in the hope of finding something better. However, true fulfillment does not come from avoiding responsibility, but from developing the self-awareness and discipline needed to cultivate deep, meaningful connections. Ultimately, external desires are a natural part of life, but they must be recognized and managed with self-awareness and discipline. Whether it is the desire for attention, novelty, material success, social validation, or personal freedom, these influences can either serve as distractions that weaken a marriage or as opportunities for individuals to reflect on their priorities and strengthen their commitment. The key to maintaining a strong and lasting relationship is not to suppress desires but to understand them, question their true significance, and ensure that they do not override the deeper values that sustain love and commitment. Stoicism offers a profound and practical solution to the challenges posed by external desires, emotional instability, and societal pressures in marriage and relationships. By emphasizing rationality, self-control, and inner tranquility, Stoicism provides a framework that helps individuals navigate the complexities of commitment while resisting the temptations and distractions that often threaten marital stability. The philosophy teaches that happiness and fulfillment come not from external sources but from mastering one's own mind, emotions, and actions. This fundamental shift in perspective allows individuals to cultivate resilience, maintain integrity, and foster deeper connections within their marriage, ensuring that their commitment remains strong regardless of external circumstances. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which distinguishes between what is within an individual's power and what is not. In the context of marriage, this principle helps individuals recognize that they cannot control their partner's thoughts, feelings, or actions, nor can they control external temptations or societal expectations. However, they can control their own responses, attitudes, and choices. By focusing on what is within their power, such as their own behavior, commitment, and emotional discipline, individuals can cultivate a sense of stability and purpose within their marriage. This mindset reduces frustration and conflict, as it shifts attention away from trying to change external circumstances and towards strengthening one's own character and values. Emotional regulation is another essential aspect of Stoic philosophy that directly addresses many of the struggles that arise in relationships. Marriage often involves moments of tension, disagreement, or dissatisfaction, and without emotional discipline, these challenges can escalate into resentment or destructive behaviors. Stoicism teaches that emotions should not be suppressed but rather understood and managed through reason. When faced with anger, frustration, or jealousy, a Stoic-minded individual takes a step back, examines the source of their emotions, and responds with wisdom rather than impulse. This ability to remain calm and composed, even in difficult situations, prevents unnecessary conflicts and fosters a sense of trust and respect between partners. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages individuals to develop an internal sense of fulfillment rather than seeking validation from external sources. In a marriage, this means not relying solely on one's partner for happiness, but instead cultivating self-sufficiency and emotional independence. While love and companionship are valuable, Stoicism reminds individuals that true contentment comes from within. This perspective eliminates the unrealistic expectation that a spouse should constantly provide excitement, validation, or fulfillment, which often leads to disappointment and unnecessary dissatisfaction. By embracing self-sufficiency, individuals can contribute to the marriage from a place of wholeness rather than neediness, creating a healthier and more balanced relationship. Another significant solution that Stoicism offers is the practice of mindfulness and present moment awareness. Many marital issues stem from dwelling on past grievances, worrying about the future, or comparing one's relationship to idealized external images. Stoicism teaches that life should be lived in the present, with full appreciation for what one has rather than longing for what one lacks. When applied to marriage, this means appreciating one's partner as they are rather than constantly seeking change or improvement. It also means letting go of unrealistic expectations and embracing the reality of long-term commitment, which includes both joy and challenges. By practicing gratitude and mindfulness, individuals can find deeper satisfaction in their marriage, rather than feeling restless or unfulfilled. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of virtue, particularly in the context of loyalty, integrity, and commitment. According to Stoic principles, living a virtuous life means adhering to one's moral and ethical values, regardless of external temptations or pressures. In marriage, this translates to unwavering fidelity, honesty, and dedication to one's partner. While external desires and fleeting attractions may arise, a Stoic-minded individual understands that true fulfillment comes not from indulging in temporary pleasures, but from maintaining integrity and staying committed to the values they have chosen. This perspective strengthens the foundation of a marriage, ensuring that it is built on trust and mutual respect, rather than impulsive decisions or external influences. Moreover, Stoicism helps individuals reframe adversity as an opportunity for growth. Many marriages face challenges, whether financial struggles, personal hardships, or emotional disconnect. Instead of viewing these difficulties as burdens, Stoicism encourages individuals to see them as opportunities to strengthen their character and deepen their relationship. By approaching challenges with resilience and a growth mindset, couples can navigate hardships together rather than allowing them to create division. This perspective fosters patience, understanding, and perseverance, all of which are essential for a lasting and meaningful partnership. Additionally, Stoicism teaches the practice of negative visualization, which involves contemplating potential losses to cultivate gratitude and perspective. In the context of marriage, this means regularly reflecting on the impermanence of life and the possibility of losing one's partner. Rather than fostering anxiety, this practice deepens appreciation for the present moment and reinforces the importance of cherishing one's spouse. Many people take their partners for granted until they are faced with the prospect of loss, but Stoicism encourages proactive appreciation, ensuring that love and gratitude remain at the forefront of a marriage. Finally, Stoicism provides a clear framework for navigating external influences, whether societal pressures, digital distractions, or materialistic desires. In an era where social media often distorts perceptions of relationships, leading individuals to compare their marriage to idealized versions online, Stoicism reminds individuals to focus on their own values rather than external validation. By rejecting the need for approval and resisting the allure of fleeting pleasures, individuals can maintain clarity and purpose in their marriage, ensuring that their commitment is based on genuine connection rather than societal expectations. Ultimately, Stoicism offers a timeless and practical solution for maintaining a strong, resilient, and fulfilling marriage. Through self-discipline, emotional mastery, gratitude, and virtue, individuals can cultivate a relationship that is rooted in stability, integrity, and mutual respect. By embracing Stoic principles, couples can navigate challenges with wisdom, resist external temptations, and find true fulfillment within their commitment, ensuring that their marriage remains a source of strength and purpose throughout their lives. In the end, Stoicism teaches us that true strength in marriage comes not from external validation, fleeting passions, or material gains, but from the mastery of oneself. A strong, lasting relationship is built on discipline, emotional resilience, and a commitment to virtue. When we learn to control our desires, regulate our emotions, and appreciate the present moment, we free ourselves from the distractions and temptations that threaten our commitment. By embracing Stoic principles, we cultivate a marriage rooted in integrity, trust, and unwavering dedication, one that stands firm against the storms of life, not because it is free from challenges, but because it is fortified by wisdom, self-control, and purpose.